Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World War III. I want to get into the reaction and the fallout to Elon Musk's announcement that he has offered to buy Twitter, what I think Elon should do, how the Democrats are responding. And I want to get to this quick little snippet from the Washington Post. This is kind of the normal liberal reaction they're having. It says, Musk's appointment to Twitter's board shows that we need regulation of social media platforms to prevent rich people from controlling our channels of communication. So guys, we all knew this was going to happen. The reality of the situation is, up until this point, liberals have enjoyed a sizable advantage on social media. They've been able to silence whoever they want. They've been able to sort of ban and shadow ban whoever they want. And this is just a human reaction, albeit it is annoying that they can't get past it and understand that for the betterment of America, for the betterment of political discourse in this country, it is better to allow people to say their political opinions without the worry of them potentially getting banned on Twitter or on Facebook or whatever. But we have to understand, and I do understand that, this is a very, very bad thing for liberals. I think overall for the country, it's obviously good. We love the First Amendment, but I always say if it was the same thing, if conservatives controlled this type of stuff to where they could ban liberal people for saying things that they didn't want out there, then they would probably do that. It's just human nature, and now they're lashing out at Elon Musk, saying he's got way too much power, and I do understand it. One man buying up a major social media platform in America is pretty crazy. If I was Elon Musk, the one thing I would stress, the one thing I would make sure I made known to the American people is that, listen, I am buying Twitter for one reason and one reason only: to restore the First Amendment. Now listen, if you don't like free speech on social media, you can leave Twitter, or we have something called a block button to where you get all these liberal people now who are kind of, once again, creating a false narrative, very similar way they did to the, don't say gay bill when they made it an anti-trans thing when it was really about young kids. How young do you want to teach them about this stuff? They turned it into, oh, you hate trans people. That was never what it's about. Same thing with Elon Musk buying Twitter. They're saying, oh, now he's got too much power. He's doing evil things. When really, Elon Musk needs to come out and say, I could buy whatever I want with the, with the amount of money that I have. I am buying Twitter because I want Twitter to enforce the First Amendment. And, there's all these people that are creating false narratives where they're saying, oh, there's horrible people on Twitter and I'm going to get bullied. If you don't like somebody on Twitter, you can block them on Twitter. You hit block, you hit report, but, maybe nothing happens if you report them with Elon now, but if you block them, you're never going to see any of their content anymore. You're never going to see their retweets or anything like that. So to me, this isn't so much as, oh, we're allowing people that are going to hurt my feelings on Twitter. It's all about that political control and the ability to ban people that might influence other people to think a certain way, like a Donald Trump, like an Alex Jones, like a conspiracy theorist, things like that. And then, of course, I always talk about how they label it misinformation, disinformation, which the word misinformation is just a complete enabler for them to ban anything that they don't agree with. So if I was Elon Musk, I would say, you're not going to hijack the narrative. I could buy anything in this world I want. The reason I'm buying Twitter is because I believe in the First Amendment on social media. What's been going on is ridiculous. Republicans started calling out how only people from the right were getting banned, especially for very minimal stuff. It was almost like they would find technicalities. I mean, with Milo Yiannopoulos, they were like he had 2 or 3 accounts or something like that, which makes no sense considering his main account had, all these followers. It's like, why would he create multiple accounts? It's just ridiculous. He would just delete them if he had to. But that's just an excuse to get him off. It's the same thing with Trump. They make January 6th this huge thing and then said he incited it via social media and he caused those people to go up there with his rhetoric on social media. I think it would be an extremely hard task for a lawyer to say that Donald Trump's social media behavior caused the January 6th event. I think it would be a massive stretch, but they needed something to get him off of social media. So that was their excuse. You can't just take him off of social media because you don't like him. That's the real reason they did it, but you got to make something up. Because the American people go, oh, you're just silencing him. No, January 6th, he's evil. He's violent. Look at all the violence he's causing. We have to do something. You need an excuse. You need an enabler. It's just like the word misinformation. It's an enabler. Oh, I don't like that. It's misinformation. Oh, the Hunter Biden story comes out. It's the big October surprise in the 2020 election. No, that's just misinformation. That is an enabler. That is a problem. And I stress right now to Elon Musk, you need to come out and you need to say, listen, guys, I understand the trepidation. It is pretty ridiculous. One man buying this major social media platform. But the reason I'm doing it is because you guys were the ones that started using the loophole that Twitter is a private company so they don't have to abide by the First Amendment, which they weren't doing. Because originally conservatives started coming out and saying, listen, why are only conservatives getting banned? And they were like, no, the First Amendment's still there, whatever. Then they started saying, and this has been kind of the liberal talking point recently when it comes to all these bans on social media, they'll come out and they'll say, oh, it's a private company, which is basically them admitting, yeah, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, none of them really believe in the First Amendment. They can ban, they can silence whoever they want if there is a negative political viewpoint, if they're influencing people, and that is what they're going to do. So there's a big stress that Elon Musk needs to come out and he needs to say, listen, I know it's scary, one individual doing this. Again, guys, it's a bigger thing. This is really against the modern liberal ideology for one private citizen to have this much power. And everyone says, oh, it's because he's a billionaire. It's not just the fact that he's rich. It's the fact that the power that comes with being that rich. The power of saying, I don't like that Twitter and liberals have this stranglehold over social media to where they can ban and silence whoever they want. I don't like that. I want to make it, a freedom. And we've got, again, it's like another false narrative with many of these people on the left, and I understand why they're doing it. They've experienced a great advantage controlling social media these past 5 or 6 years. I would say ever since Trump got elected in 2016, they've really gotten bad with how they police Twitter. And I think it was a main thing where Twitter back in 2014, 2015 was like, of course we believe in the First Amendment. In America, we've got all these people using our platform, making all this money off monetization on ads on Twitter, things like that. Of course, great site traffic. And then they were like, oh, shit hits the fan when Trump gets elected. They were like, this is ridiculous. We got to do something. And we really need to be overseers and actually impact the way people consume information. And if there's people out there that are influencing younger people to vote a certain way, aka vote Republican, those people should probably be removed, shadow banned, or silenced in some way. And I think this whole thing got triggered from Trump winning in 2016. Because if you go back to like 2014, 2015, yes, part of it is social media as a whole has just gotten way more popular. It continues to grow exponentially with more people joining these platforms. But I think there was a completely different rhetoric that Twitter had when it came to the First Amendment. It was almost like back in 2014, 2015, they're like, yeah, no, duh, we like the First Amendment. Are you kidding me? And then Trump gets elected, and then their stance over the next 2 or 3 years slowly changes, and by 2019 you've got liberal people saying, oh, they're a private company, they don't have to abide by the First Amendment, there's nothing you can do, which is technically true, but it's a technicality and basically a way of them saying, no, we don't believe in the First Amendment, we want to ban whoever we want to ban. So very interesting stuff. We hope Elon Musk is able to buy it and, just restore the First Amendment. I understand if you're a liberal person out there, you're pissed about it. Absolutely, I understand it. It is a human reaction. This is a major blow to the way you could potentially be controlling social media. But overall, you have to understand, you have to kind of look past that and realize the best political climate for America when it comes to social media, especially with how impactful social media is in the 21st century, the best political climate involves everybody from the left, from the right, having the freedom to be able to say what they think politically on these platforms without having the worry of getting potentially banned off these platforms. So there's been a lot of reaction, a lot of the same stuff. The liberal people kind of hijacking a little bit. They're lashing out. I get it. I understand. You've controlled social media. If Elon takes over Twitter, you're not going to control that anymore. That is a negative, but it's this false narrative that I think Elon Musk needs to shut down, to where they're like, oh, Elon Musk is now going to censor people who talk bad about Tesla and things like that. If I was Elon Musk, I would say, no. That is not what this is about. I could buy anything in the world. The reason I'm buying Twitter is because I believe in the First Amendment, and I think Twitter impacts young people and political discourse to the point where I think it's the right thing and the noble thing to do to buy this platform and instill the freedom of speech. And that doesn't mean you can bully people and you can say, go kill yourself and stuff like that. You're still going to get suspended. But when you're talking about politics, what we were seeing, people were getting shadow banned. They were getting silenced simply for their political views. And that is something that in America should not be accepted, and you should not be able to use the excuse that it's a private company. And that is why Elon Musk is doing it. We've got this woman here. Dear Elon, fuck off. Your ego is way bigger than your judgment, and your money doesn't make you a decent leader of a damn thing. You run a racist company. There it is. Play the hits, right? Whenever a Democrat gets angry, you call him a racist. You run a racist company. I will never let my words drive your bottom line. I'll be doing all I can to convince liberals not to buy your shit. So again, it's very tough. They're lashing out. I don't want to leave Twitter, but it seems a given if Musk buys it and will become uninhabitable for trans people and lots of other people. So they're saying trans people are going to get bullied. Again, if I would tell this woman, listen, if there's somebody that's bullying you, there is a block button on Twitter. If you block the person that's bullying you, then you will never see one of their tweets. You will never see one of their retweets. They can't DM you. They can't message you, things like that. I think this is really just a straw man, very similar to the Florida bill, where they kind of turned it into, oh, you're anti-trans people, you're anti-trans rights, when the bill was specifically designed to make sure we, are talking about young children, kindergarten through third grade. This isn't about us hating trans rights. This is about a situation where you are running into teachers who really, there's no reason to be teaching kids about this. We don't want to get into that. We're not going to get into it, but I've talked about that multiple times. Elon Musk buying Twitter is the end of the world, basically. I mean, how do you expect to be taken seriously? He'll amplify every extremist right-wing Nazi he can find. So Elon Musk, according to him, it says this dude limited who can reply. I love the First Amendment. He limits who can. Can I even reply to him? It says people who he mentioned can reply. He did one of those things. It's like, dude, what's the point of being on social media? But so he calls Elon Musk a Nazi. So we got the one woman calling Elon Musk a racist. We've got this dude calling him a Nazi. We need someone saying he hates trans people. Oh, the last woman said it was going to be uninhabitable for trans people. So we're playing all the liberal hits here. We've got all of them. If Elon Musk allows Trump back on Twitter, it will be a death blow to the free world. So letting someone exercise their right to free speech is a death blow to the free world. Trump's big lie will spread like a virus. I discussed the danger of Trump's big lie for Salon, like Hitler's big lie. So we got the Trump is Hitler. Boy, we're playing all the hits today. Like Hitler's big lie, it must not be normalized lest least fascism return. So now you're keeping track. We got Elon's a racist. We got trans people are going to be targeted. Elon's sexist, Trump is a Nazi, Elon's a Nazi, Trump is Hitler. So those are the things we've got going when it comes to the way these people are lashing out, and it is sad, but again, not too surprising. And then this was something that happened yesterday with Joe Biden. Biden just finished his speech and shook hands with no one. Not exactly sure what's going on with there, but it seems like every week there seems to be a weird moment with Biden. And, I try and treat Biden with kids' gloves because I feel like it's not fair. to Joe Biden because we don't really know if he's all there. And everyone always says this, but no one does anything about it. It's like, why are we electing guys, even Trump, or at least the thing is, at least Trump looks like he's younger. But, Joe Biden looks like he should be in an old folks home. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that, like, what are we doing? Like, who are we electing? If it were up to me, the president would be 54, 55, 56 years old. Like, that's prime time to be a president. You get in at 54, you get out at 66. Similar to, what Obama's age was. We need to get a lot younger with our elected officials. And it's like, it's so demoralizing because it's like we're in this democracy, but the way Biden won the Democratic primary was so ridiculous. So ridiculous. And then there's this meme, freedom of speech is dangerous to democracy. I like the masks. The masks were a good touch, but yes, freedom of speech is dangerous to it's kind of like the opposite. It makes no sense. And then where was this tweet that I found? Abortion is healthcare. Listen, I understand what this lady is saying, and I'm not going to get into the whole abortion thing. I think with abortion, listen, if there's a sexual assault involved, absolutely, you should be able to get an abortion no matter when you want. But the problem that I have is these women say, my body, my choice, things like that. Yeah, your body, there's also consequences. And it's a gray area because you could wear a condom and you could still get pregnant, things like that. But generally, if you're a woman and you're having sex with your boyfriend and you're not wearing anything and he's nutting in you, I mean, that is a consequence. It feels really good. Sex is great. We get it. But there's going to be a consequence to that. And the consequence is a baby. And I understand it's a gray area. Guys wear condoms. Women are on the pill and they still get pregnant, things like that. But it's just one of those things where these women are like, my body, my choice. Yeah, well, if a dude fucks you and nuts, drops a massive load in you and you get pregnant, that's a consequence. That's a grown-ass adult decision. And, the idea of killing a fetus is, I'm not going to get into that. I will not get into it. Generally, I would be a hypocrite if I was anti-abortion because, let's just say I'd be a little bit of a hypocrite. But we won't get into it, and I just thought it was funny. Abortion is healthcare. Killing unborn babies is your right to healthcare. That's your healthcare. It's just like, you should not say that. I'm sorry. I understand what you mean, but you should not say that. I was like, whoa. It's like the complete opposite. Like, killing is my right. I have a right to kill something with healthcare covering me. Like, what? But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.